Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at Ask Adam Torres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special Reunion 2020 episode. What is that? That's when I bring on a guest that I had on in the past that I like so much I couldn't get enough and had to bring him right back. So today's guest is Greg Schwem, and he is the president over at Comedy with a Byte, and he's also the creator of A Comedian Crashes Your Pad. Greg, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's great to be back, Adam. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, so when I saw you schedule the book, I was like, oh, this guy, I got Greg back in the show. He thought he was going to get away. He didn't think he could. Just when you thought you were out, you were safe, you got dragged right back in, huh?
That's right, and you got me on a day that I'm not on the road, so that's even better.
Oh man, so let's just jump right in. So Comedy with a Byte. I don't want to assume that everybody, we recorded our last episode, I don't know, maybe about a year ago, so I don't want to assume everybody caught that one. Bunch of new listeners. Let's just jump right in. So tell us a little bit more about the business and what you do.
Well, Comedy with a Byte is my is the name of my company, and I am a corporate comedian, meaning I do shows for Fortune 500 companies, for professional business associations and the like, and that's what I've been doing. The Byte is B-Y-T-E. When I first started doing it, I was really targeting the tech industry. I've pulled back a little bit from that, but I do like the name. It's stuck. It's on all my tax forms, so I've kept comedy. That is what I do. I'm not a comedian that you see a lot in comedy clubs every now and then, but for the most part, you will see me at a big business convention, a kickoff, a sales meeting, that kind of thing. And that's where I've formed my niche, and that's what I enjoy doing.
So let's talk about the humor. I mean, clean comedy. I mean, give us a flavor of what those people are listening right now. I know there's a ton of business owners, entrepreneurs, executives. They have these big meetings, big conventions. I know it's always a thing. Who are we going to book? How are we going to engage the crowd? Give us a little flavor of what that sounds like, because you're a true master at your craft for these corporate events.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that is exactly what I do. And I like to think when people are considering speakers and they're saying, who are we going to book and how can we make things different? I'm the different guy. I mean, every meeting has your experts in the field and so forth, or your visionaries and your entrepreneurs, your serial entrepreneurs. Those are really popular. But I think when you have one of these 3-day events, you have to have a little bit of levity. You have to have a break. You can't just be bombarded with work-related topics all the time. And that's really what I provide. And I do a particular type of humor in the fact that I do customize, and it is my goal to make an audience laugh about what they do for a living. And it's all very on the up and up. I don't belittle, I don't mock, I have some fun with what they do. I mean, right now when you called, I was writing jokes for an organization called the North American Meat Institute, as in meat, as in poultry, as in beef, as in cows. And I'm going to be going to Atlanta and doing a presentation for them. And, so I have to write jokes about the meat industry. But that's something that I enjoy doing. And I think I have found over doing this for 20 plus years that corporate America really does like to laugh at itself, even if it's just for 45 minutes to an hour.
I love it, and I know some of the speakers that are listening to this right now are going to be like, "Oh, don't say it, Adam," but I don't care. When I can hear a good comedian in between a big multi-day like a conference or something else to break it up. I mean, obviously I love my speakers. Don't worry about that, everybody listening. But to get somebody up there that could just, I don't necessarily always want more inspiration or something else or whatever. I just want to laugh for a minute. Like, let me laugh so I can retain some more information,
that is exactly
some other things.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You'd be amazed how many presentations I do at like 9 a.m. and it's for that reason. We want to wake them up. We want to get their blood flowing and so forth. So that's why we want you. I mean, when you think of a comedian, you think of a guy who's on at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. sometimes, go back 12 hours and that's when I'm on. And I'm perfectly okay with that.
Oh man, that's awesome. Let's get into your show. A comedian crashes your pad. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. When I was on the last time, I had just launched this, and it's really starting to take off and get a little buzz, and that's what I'm hoping for. So basically what it is I became very fascinated with the home sharing market, Airbnbs and VRBOs, people who, home away, that kind of thing. And I just decided while I was on the road, it would be more fun to, rather than always stay in a hotel, it might be more fun and maybe worth some material if I could go stay in some of these kind of quirky properties or meet some kind of quirky people that rent out these properties in the cities that I'm in. And I decided to not only stay there while I was on the road, but to actually film my experiences with these people. And that's how A Comedian Crashes Your Pad was born. And I have since done over, I believe I'm on my 35th episode. They've gone international.
Congratulations, first of all. That's amazing.
And they're worldwide now. I shot one in London. I stayed on a boat in a London canal. I shot one in Vancouver. I stayed with a guy a tech guy who had a smart house. And basically the whole thing was Google and Amazon Alexa driven. And I just said Alexa, and now my Alexa is out in my office. So
Google knows.
That wasn't you.
Google knows.
Right, exactly. So, and it's been picked up by a couple of streaming services, and I'm getting more views on YouTube. And I think people, there's nothing else like it out there, and it's something that I just really thoroughly enjoy doing. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy meeting people outside of the industry that I'm working for. And like I said, I don't think nothing funny ever really happens in a hotel. But go outside of that while you're traveling, and something funny will happen.
That's awesome. Give us an example of one of these funny stories. What's something memorable in terms of a place you stayed at?
Well,
let's give them a reason to go over to that channel, because I'm excited.
Yeah, there you go. Well, okay. Sometimes what's funny is not necessarily the host. Somebody else becomes sort of the star of the episode. A classic example is I was out in San Francisco, and I was actually across the bay. I was staying in a mansion in Oakland. That's how it was. That's how it was advertised. It's a 10-bedroom mansion. And one guy owned it, and he shows up at the door, and he's holding this dog, Bongo, and Bongo is totally limp in his arms, and he explains that Bongo had surgery, and he's stoned. Basically, the dog is completely whacked out on drugs, and the whole interview. He walked through the mansion carrying Bongo. It was like carrying a stuffed animal. Every now and then Bongo would rear his head and kind of look at me like, "Are we almost done here?" And the more I looked at the footage, I was like, the mansion owner's not the star. It's totally drugged out.
Oh my God!
It really is the star of this episode. So when I was editing the episode, I put like speech bubbles over the dog as like what Bongo was thinking while I was doing the episode, and it's that kind of stuff. It's like you never know what you're gonna get, and that's what I like. That's what I like about these episodes. I always can find something that it wasn't advertised, and sometimes it'll turn the point of the whole episode or the message or the mood of the episode, and that's what I love.
Oh man, that's awesome. And yeah, and I'm looking at the channel, and I mean you've been everywhere. I'm looking London, England, as you mentioned, Charleston, Vancouver, San Francisco, Denver.
Right.
Geez, you've
sometimes
been Fargo,
towns too.
Alaska. Come on, you've been everywhere.
Skagway, Alaska. I stayed with a couple that they run a distillery, a vodka and gin distillery basically out of their house.
What?
Like really high-end bootleggers. in Skagway, and I happened to be working. I was actually doing a show on a cruise ship, and it stopped in Skagway, and we had some time. And I thought, okay, I got to see who's renting out properties in Skagway, Alaska. And I found these two, and they just couldn't have been nicer. And the product is really good, by the way. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Best Airbnb ever. It's like, by the way, if you need a drink, you just pony on up. We got mugs.
There you go.
You put your hands through the window, we fill it up, and you go. You don't even have to come in the house. I can't. Right. That's ridiculous.
And by the way, if anybody's interested, everybody's listening, I am looking right now for a property. I really, and not, don't take this the wrong way, but the cannabis industry is obviously really booming now.
Absolutely.
Nationwide, and I'm actually trying to find a property that sort of is involved in both. I've been looking for somebody that has a home sharing property, but that also maybe their job is involved in the cannabis industry. And there are a lot of those out there. I just haven't found one in the city that I'm going to be in yet. But my web series, one of the streaming services it's on, is called E360 TV, e360tv.com, and they're very in tune with what's going on in the burgeoning cannabis industry. So I'm always looking for a place to crash there, just to see how the two home sharing and the cannabis industry mix and mingle, you know?
That's awesome. And I think that's a great transition. So if somebody's listening to this and they want to contact you either to talk about your booking you for a show or learn more about what you do, or to learn more about your channel, A Comedian Crashes Your Pad, what's the best route for them to follow up?
Probably my personal website, and that's Greg Schwem, GregSchwem, as in mother, GregSchwem.com. That'll tell you everything you need about all the different things that I'm doing, whether it's corporate comedy or pad crashing.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Greg, always a pleasure. I'm looking forward to our reunion 2021 episodes where you're going to be like, Adam, I'm up to 100 episodes. I'm like, man, do you ever stay home? No, you don't. It's your job to travel and do these shows. Of course, you better not stay home.
Right, exactly.
So awesome having you back on the show, Greg, anytime. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Don't forget, go check out A Comedian Crashes Your Pad. Looking at the channel right now on YouTube, just to give you a flavor of some of the other ones. There's this guy holding we don't have time for it now, but I want to ask you, there's this guy holding up a cornflakes box. I'm like, what happened in Phoenix? I don't know. If you want to know what happened, in Phoenix, you better go to this man's YouTube channel, A Comedian Crashes Your Pad. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Really do appreciate it. Without everybody listening, there is no podcast. So thank you again. Don't forget to leave me a comment on the Apple iTunes store. And Greg, thanks again for participating.
My pleasure. All right. Good luck to you, Adam.